everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cafe Disco. How you all been doing? On today's list, we have kindness. How underrated and rare is kindness? Actually, the inspiration for this episode came to me last night, and I was like, oh, yes. I have to talk about this. Why? Yesterday, I was at the club with my friends. I was having a kind of off night. I was like, okay, let's go clubbing, let's have some fun. And the plan was being like, okay, tomorrow I have to wake up early, do a lot of stuff, so I'm gonna go home a little bit earlier than you guys. And they were like, yeah, okay, no worries. Bear in mind, the club is close to my house, not walking close. Like, walking wise, it's like 35 minutes, which is an okay distance, but not at night. I would never walk 35 minutes alone in the city at night. But it's like 15 minutes with Uber and 12 minutes by bike. And since I cycle everywhere here in London, I'm like, okay, I would love to take a bike because the Uber was £22. And I'm like, oh, £22 for 15 minutes. It's a lot. Like, I don't want to spend 20 just to get home. Okay. And I was like, perfect. There was a bike that was like 3 minutes, 4 minutes from the club. I reserve it. And on my way out, I met the bouncer, which is a really, really nice person. Her name is Jackie. I love you, Jackie, always. And she was like, oh, yeah, you're so nice to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. Where are you going? And I was like, yeah, I'm going home. But with Uber, I was like, no, line back is just 4 minutes from here. And she was like, but you're going alone? And I'm like, yeah, it's like 3 minutes. She's like, absolutely not. So she called on the radio, the other bouncer. She was like, okay, I have to take this girl to the Lime bike. Please cover me for 5 minutes. So she left the door of the club and walked me to my Lime bike so I was safe. And I was like, really? Are you really doing that? Like, none of my friends did it. And it's not their fault. They were having fun at the club. But I was like, oh my God, how simple was the act and how actually changed my night. Because I am a bit scared to walk alone in the city at night. Like, it's scary, especially after going clubbing where you're dressed in a certain way. Like, it makes you feel exposed in a way. And even from those 4 minutes, you're on the edge. I would have been certainly running in my heels, being like Super Mario walk to my Lime bike. And she was like, no way. So calmly, she was like, okay, let's walk together to the Lime bike. And she never left me until I was on my Lime cycling home. So other than not spending £22 to get home, I went home faster and safer. And thanks to this woman who actually took literally 5 minutes from her shift to take me to my Lime bike. And I was like, how wonderful is that? How incredible is that? How tiny is this simple act of attention that actually changed my night in a way? And especially for a girl, I think that there are multiple situations where you can feel unsafe, but you still, I don't know, find me to get through them. But yeah, this woman was like, there's no way you're gonna walk alone to the Lime bike, even if they are 3 minutes. There's no way that's gonna happen. And I'm like, wow, underrated and rare thing. I'll give you another example. I think like 3 weeks ago, here in London, as you can see right now, it's like very sunny. There's a massive heat wave. It's like 32 degrees in my house. But 3 weeks ago, it was like raining cats and dogs, like doomsday, all of that stuff. And it was a Sunday, I was going out for a walk, and the weather was nice, not so sunny, but nice. As soon as I stepped my foot out of my door, it started getting cloudy, and I was like, okay, don't worry. Just some clouds passing by, it's not gonna rain. As soon as I'm at the park, like on my way to enter the park, doomsday, literally, the storm, raining, actually really, it was mayhem. And I was literally soaked up in the rain. I was just going on a kind of tiny roof that was coming out of a shop to find some rest from this storm. And actually there was this guy working at a construction site, was like, come here. And I was like, me? Yeah, come here. And it was like, I see that you're totally soaked in the rain. You're drenching. You're really wet. Can I give you my umbrella? And I'm like, yes, but you won't have your umbrella with you when you have to go home. And I was like, no, don't worry. My work gear has a hoodie, so I will be okay. But you don't have anything. And he actually gave me his umbrella. And I was like, oh my God, I still have that umbrella because it was like some kind of universe call. It was like a lucky gift sent from heaven. And I was like, oh my God, it was so simple for him, but it really changed my afternoon because I went home as if I went to the pool with my clothes and shoes. And it was like, it made me think about how we not only underestimate, underrate kindness, but also how sometimes we misunderstand it. For instance, it is so rare to be kind nowadays that if someone is kind to us, I think that it is perceived either as an opportunistic double end objective, like I want something else and I want to achieve it through my kindness, or either a flirtatious thing. Whereas, as Michael B. Jordan says, not every guy who's kind to you is hitting on you. Some guys were raised by their moms just to be polite and kind. And it is actually so rare because it doesn't happen very often these days. And I was thinking, why something so simple and so genuine has to be misunderstood in one or the other way? Because actually, I think it comes with the survival instincts of that we have acquired in today's society, that if somebody is especially kind to you, actually wants something from you. And I think that there's like a very high likelihood that this could be the case, but it shouldn't be. You get what I mean? It really, really shouldn't be like this. And also, if a guy is, it's kind of instant. Oh my God, this guy is so kind to me. Maybe he's hitting on me, and it's so cool because he's so polite, he's so kind. And actually, no, maybe not. Maybe this guy's kind because he's well behaved and just wants to be kind. You get what I mean? So I think that this can be extended to many things. Like, how can we implement a little bit a kinder attitude in our daily life? Because that would make ourselves better, but also the people around us' lives better. I don't know, holding the door for a person that's slightly behind us, or if I'm at the grocery store, for instance, I have the habit that if a person has 2 items and I have a full cart, I make them go first. Because come on, I would appreciate it. And I think that installing this kind of tiny habits, tiny kinder habits, this kind of pills should be implemented, should be added to our daily approach towards life, in the sense of being, if I get to receive this kind of treatment, would I be happy? Yes. If I was having 2 items at the supermarket and the person in front of me had a full cart and made me pass first, I would really, really grateful to that person. Or for instance, I don't know, if I have 25 bags and I'm on the tube and someone gives me their seat, that's actually very kind. And all the way around, if I see an elderly person or a pregnant woman or somebody who's physically struggling, maybe carrying luggages and stuff, why wouldn't I step up and give them my seat? You know what I mean? And I think that even if we are kind in our core, we can always be better. Not to the point where we let people overstep our boundaries and our personal being, but to the extent that it's not like making a good impression, but being like, okay, I'm doing this because I'm not having anything back, but I'm just being a good person. I don't know. I don't know why it's such a complicated, because it becomes complicated and rare thing to find. But yeah, from my experience, these 2 situations really struck me because they were very unusual. Come on, in the rain, who would give their umbrella to another person who's literally soaked? I don't know. The second thought that I had was like, how rare it is something like this. Because it's not the first time that I go back home from the club with my Lime bike. And it's actually the first time that someone took the care and the time to walk me to my Lime bike. And I was like, wow. Regarding the being kind, we have to, as I always say, we have to find a balance, like draw a line where the kindness doesn't transform into being a doormat for other people. It happened to me so many times of being like, okay, but that doesn't cost me much to do this thing for them, do this thing for my friend, go and pick up something for this person and do this and do that. And like, I always ended up like literally all over the place doing things for other people, and they were not doing anything for me if I needed them. As I was saying, it's not like a trade. I do this for you, you do this for me. But it happened to me that once, after 20 times that I was kind to these people, that I needed something, that I was like, in a situation where it would have been nice if they were like kinder, but this didn't happen. And I was like, okay, being kind does not have to become the trait of our personality. Otherwise, we end up being treated literally like doormats. We get to be used, and that's like awful, but it happens because a lot of people are not so nice if we want to put them their way, and so like they take advantage of other people's kindness because they think that it's comfortable, that's always there, and they do not appreciate it as something that it's actually special. Because I think that kindness is something that has absolutely not to be taken for granted. Me being kind to you is not being taken for granted. Me being an educated and well-behaved person, that's a given. But like being kind, being polite, it's a plus. And you have to worship in a way and recognize this thing. Like not absolutely taking it for granted. And it happened to me so many times that my being kind was taken for granted. And actually, if I dared to take a step back, be like, oh, why aren't you doing this? Why are you doing that? And then when you waken up your brain and be like, but I don't have to do this because these people are so fucking rude to me, the table turns. You get what I mean? But yeah, remaining on the good note of being kind, I think that if we make the daily effort of being like, how could I be a little bit kinder towards others and also towards myself? Ooh, that's a new whole topic. Because it happens to a lot of people, I think, me personally, that we tend to put other people's well-being in the first place. Being like, okay, I'm kind to this friend needs me, this person needs me, and even strangers. And you're literally dividing yourself in 25,000 million pieces to help others, to people's problems, and because you want to be there, you're just a good friend. But the act of being a good friend or a good person doesn't have to put us in the background. You get what I mean? Like in a way, it should be the ground rule that how we treat others, how kind we are with others, we should reflect it towards ourselves. And there's no point in being kind to others if we are so cruel with ourselves. And yeah, and with that, it comes the misbelief, the second guessing, the harsh critics that we inflict ourselves after almost everything we do. So all of that's fine. And as I said in many of my previous episodes, wouldn't it be nice if we were our own fans as we are with other people? So in kindness, wouldn't it be nice if we were even a little bit kinder with us like we are with other people? I'm just gonna leave it there. Another topic for me is the good friend thing. I love to be there for my friends. I love to be kind and lovely stuff for them, make them feel special and all of that stuff. But I came to the understanding that this has not to be something that is what you're called for being a friend. You have to be a good friend for your friends, but you don't have to be responsible for them. Because, for instance, my friends know that they can call me literally at 3 a.m. and I will answer and I will be there for them no matter what. But here it has to be a trade, because if I have, not in the same way, like it doesn't have to be like A to A, B to B, but it's like an equal amount of being there for the other. Maybe another friend, if I call them at 3 a.m., they won't reply because their phone is in airplane mode. But if I ask them to pick me up in another kind of situation, I'm sure they will be there. But it happened to me a few times that I was being so there, being so kind to this person, listening to them, listening to their problems, listening to their stories for hours. Like I had this friend that sent me 25 minutes vocal messages. 25 for multiple times a day. And I was like, really? Like, this is disrespectful of my time. Because if you take like an hour and a quarter to send me vocal messages to be like, okay, you listen to them. First off, you can call me if you have something that long to tell me. I would certainly listen to you, but an hour and a quarter of vocal messages, I think that's a little bit too much. But that's so disrespectful of my time, of being like, yeah, you listen to them and you reply. Like as an assignment, as a task. No, like if I listen to you, if I'm so dear to you as a friend and I'm so there, it's not like we don't have to take this sentence as a brutal rule, but you have to be there for me also in exchange. Because if I happen to have a tough situation in my life and I wanted to talk to somebody, I would have to be able to talk to you, since I've listened to you, to your vocal messages, to your calls for hours and hours and hours. And I was there giving you advice over advice, and we were talking about the same conversation, the same situation over and over again. And not always it happened to me that this exchange happened. And not always this exchange happened in my life. Like, there were times where I was like, okay, can I talk to you about this? Yeah, I'm sorry, I cannot right now. I'm not like that. And I'm like, yeah, but 2 days ago, you sent me 2 hours of vocal messages and I listened to them and carefully replied. But here we are. This teaches a lesson on me of being like, you allowed this person to overstep your kindness and taking it for granted and taking it as like a service, like, I don't know, a therapy service, and not feeling the necessity to listen to you. So it was not like the ground base for a friendship. Get what I mean? So the silver lining is like, it always teaches us something the hard way. But yeah, like, it tells a lot about this person, but tells a lot about me. So going back to the main sentence, I suggest that we should all try to be more polite in our daily lives, just to experiment what happens. Because I'm a true believer that if we put out positive and good energy, we receive in the most beautiful way the same positive and good energy. But it's like in that non-interested way, like not like I'm gonna be kind just to get something back, but just like I'm gonna be kind for the sake of being kind. And I'm sure that the cosmic world, the universe, the energies will reward me of my kindness, because I'm putting out good effort, good energy. So that's my take on kindness. Please, let's not take it for granted anymore and for something that has to necessarily be there. And let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for listening to this episode of Cafe Disco. And as always, see you in the next episode and have a great day. Bye.